Every challenge is an opportunity to build a stronger, more unstoppable version of yourself. Train your mind to believe in yourself, and nothing will seem impossible. You've probably heard people say your mind is your greatest asset. But have you ever stopped to think about what that really means? We often take our thoughts for granted, but the truth is, your mind shapes everything in your life. How you see yourself, how you handle challenges, and how you approach every single day. So if you want to change your life, you've got to start by training your mind. In today's video, we're going to dive deep into what it really takes to become mentally strong. We're going to talk about how your mind works and how you can use it to overcome any obstacle, break through the barriers that hold you back, and achieve the things you've always wanted. I'm going to share with you powerful principles that will help you control your thoughts, strengthen your mindset, and rise above the difficulties that are trying to keep you down. Whether you're facing a tough situation right now, feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges, or simply wanting to take your mental strength to the next level, this video is for you. By the end, you'll have the tools you need to take control of your mind and start moving forward with confidence, determination, and purpose. Stick with me, because the truth is, your mind is a weapon, and it's time to start using it to create the life you've always wanted. Are you ready to become mentally strong? Let's dive in. My friends, in the grand theater of life, we have so many conversations. We talk about our goals, our passions, and our dreams. We discuss what we want to achieve and who we want to become. But there is one conversation that precedes all others, one truth that must be fully embraced before any real work can begin. It is the truth about mental strength. We've touched upon the idea that your mind is your greatest asset, the foundation of everything you will ever experience. But what does it truly mean to fortify that foundation? What does it truly mean to become mentally strong? Let me tell you something important, a truth that will liberate you from all forms of self-doubt and limiting beliefs. Mental strength is not something you're born with. It's not a gift from the heavens bestowed upon a select few. It's not something that magically happens to certain people while others are left behind. No, my friends, mental strength is something you build. It's something you train. And most importantly, it is something you have full control over. This is not a matter of talent. This is a matter of will. This is a matter of choice. You see, a lot of people have a profound misunderstanding of what it means to be mentally strong. Some look at a successful athlete and think they never feel fear. Some look at a resilient leader and believe they never feel doubt or frustration. But that is a fiction. That is not what strength is. True mental strength does not mean you don't have problems. It doesn't mean you are without emotions. It doesn't mean the waves of life will never crash upon your shore. It simply means that no matter what happens, no matter how powerful the storm, you stay in control. You are not defined by the feelings that visit you, but by the choices you make in their presence. Let's be clear about this. Life is going to challenge you. You are going to face difficulties. You will have days when nothing seems to go right, when every path forward is blocked, when it feels like the universe is conspiring against your dreams. You will experience failure, disappointment, and struggle. But what separates the strong from the weak is not the absence of these moments, but how they handle them. The weak allow life to break them. They succumb to the pressure. They find a reason to stop. They let their circumstances dictate their end. The strong, however, use those very moments to get stronger. They see a setback not as a stop sign, but as a test of their will. They see a challenge not as a punishment, but as a forge in which their character is shaped. I want you to think about this right now. When was the last time you let your emotions take over? When was the last time you let fear stop you from taking a chance? When was the last time you told yourself you couldn't do something because of a feeling you had in the moment? If you've been stuck in those patterns, I'll tell you why. You haven't been training your mind. You've been letting life control you instead of taking control yourself. But that changes today. That changes right now. Because once you truly understand this profound truth about mental strength, you will never see a difficulty the same way again. It is a moment of opportunity. It is a moment to prove to yourself just how strong you really are. Let's get one thing absolutely clear. Mental strength is a choice. It is not a talent. It is not a gift. It is a decision you make every single day in the face of every single challenge. It's the decision to keep going when things get hard. It's the decision to push yourself when you feel like quitting. It's the decision to do what's necessary even when it's uncomfortable. And the most powerful part of all, anyone can make that choice. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You don't need to have all the resources. You just need to decide in this moment to start. Now let's talk about something that holds most people back, something that is a direct enemy of mental strength: excuses. Excuses are the lies we tell ourselves to justify our weakness. I see it all the time. People say, I would be stronger if my past was different, or I could be more disciplined if I had more motivation. Listen to me, my friends. If you want to be mentally strong, you have to stop making excuses. Weak people blame their circumstances. They blame their past, their parents, their boss, the economy, anything and everything they can. But strong people take responsibility. They understand that while they cannot control everything that happens to them, they can always, without fail, control how they respond. That is where real power comes from. That is where self-mastery is born. I know what you might be thinking, but my situation is different. I've been through things that most people haven't. And you know what? That might be true. But let me tell you something. Every strong person you admire, every successful individual you've ever read about, has been through struggle. They did not get to where they are by having an easy life. They got there by choosing strength over weakness. They got there by choosing responsibility over excuses. They got there by choosing action over complaints. They used their struggle not as an anchor, but as a propellant. Here is something else that most people don't want to hear, but which is absolutely essential for your growth. If you want to be strong, you have to get comfortable with discomfort. The reason most people never develop mental strength is because they instinctively avoid difficulty. They want things to be easy. They want things to go their way all the time. They are obsessed with a life without friction. But the truth is, mental strength is built when things get hard. It's built when you have every reason to quit, but you don't. It's built when you feel exhausted, but you keep going. I want you to think about a time in your life when you overcame something difficult. Maybe you had to push yourself when nobody believed in you. Maybe you had to keep going when things felt impossible. Maybe you had to rebuild yourself after failure. Think about how that moment shaped you. Now, imagine if you had given up. Imagine if you had walked away. Do you see the difference? Strong people do not run from difficulty. They face it. They learn from it, and because of that, they grow. There's another key to mental strength that most people overlook: your thoughts. What you tell yourself every day matters more than you realize. Your internal dialogue is the most important conversation you will ever have. If you tell yourself you're weak, you will act weak. If you tell yourself you're not good enough, you will believe it, and your results will reflect that belief. But if you start training your mind to think stronger, you will become stronger. You see, weak people focus on their problems. They dwell on the things they cannot change. Strong people, on the other hand, focus on their solutions. They look for the lesson in every failure and move forward. Weak people let negative thoughts run their lives like a chaotic, uncontrolled broadcast. Strong people take control of their thoughts. They become the gatekeeper of their minds. Pay attention to what you tell yourself. Pay attention to what you believe about yourself. If your mind is filled with doubt and negativity, it is time to change that, because your mind is the most powerful tool you have, but only if you train it to work for you instead of against you. Another thing that separates the strong from the weak is discipline. Let's be honest, most people do things based on how they feel. They say, I'll work hard when I feel motivated, or I'll be productive when I'm in the right mood. That is a hallmark of weakness. Strong people don't wait to feel like it. They do what needs to be done no matter what. They stick to their commitments even when it's hard. They follow through even when they don't feel like it, because they understand that if they rely on their feelings, they will never be consistent. Consistency is the foundation of all true progress. You see, mental strength is about being in control of yourself. It's about being the kind of person who doesn't give in to every impulse, who doesn't quit when things get uncomfortable, who doesn't let circumstances decide their future. It's about showing up every day and doing what's necessary no matter what. And let me tell you, when you develop this kind of strength, your life changes. Because mentally strong people don't just survive in life, they thrive. They succeed in business, in relationships, in personal growth, because they don't let weakness dictate their actions. They build a mindset that allows them to overcome anything. So here's my question for you. What kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be the kind of person who lets life push them around? Or do you want to be the kind of person who stands firm, who takes control, who refuses to be defeated? Because that choice is yours. And let me tell you, the world respects strength. The world listens to those who are mentally tough. The world follows those who refuse to break. If you want to be someone who leads, someone who succeeds, someone who changes their life, you must decide right now that you will train your mind. You will take responsibility. You will stop making excuses. You will start doing the hard things that make you strong. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Because once you build real mental strength, once you train your mind to overcome anything, nothing can stop you. This is the great work of self-mastery, the fundamental principle upon which our entire journey is built. With this understanding of what mental strength truly is, we are now ready to tackle the next crucial challenge. Learning to stop letting our fleeting emotions control the destiny we are trying so hard to create. My friends, in our last conversation, we uncovered a truth that redefines the very nature of success. We understood that mental strength is not a gift, but a choice we make in the quiet moments of our minds and in the noisy moments of our lives. We established that the first step to fortifying your mind is to decide with unwavering conviction that you will be strong. But now, we must address the single greatest threat to that conviction, the most insidious, most subtle, and most common enemy of your daily progress. I am talking about your feelings. Have you ever woken up in the morning full of plans, ready to take on the day, and then suddenly a feeling hits you? Maybe it's a wave of doubt, a blanket of laziness, or a cold shiver of fear. And before you know it, the whole day is slipping away. The gym routine is skipped. The important phone call is delayed. The challenging project is pushed off until tomorrow. All because of one simple thing. You let your feelings take control. Now, I want you to think about how often this happens. How many times have you said, I don't feel like it, and walked away from an opportunity that could have changed your life? How many times have you told yourself, I'll do it later, because in that moment you didn't have the motivation? This is the central tragedy of most lives. They let their emotions decide what they do. They let their moods control their actions, and because of that, they stay stuck. They are prisoners of their own emotional states. But here is the truth, a truth that will set you free from this tyranny. If you let your feelings control you, you will never reach your full potential, because feelings are unreliable. They are as fickle as the weather. They change. They come and go. And if you only do what you need to do when you feel like it, you will never be consistent. And without consistency, you will never succeed. Think about the strongest people in the world. The most successful people, the ones who achieve their goals, build empires, and change the world. Do they operate based on feelings? No. They operate based on commitment. They wake up and do what they need to do no matter how they feel, because they understand that success isn't about motivation, it's about discipline. Let's be honest about motivation. Motivation is easy. It's an emotional high. It's easy to feel inspired for a moment. It's easy to get excited about a new goal. But what happens when that excitement fades? What happens when it gets hard? What happens when you don't feel like it anymore? That is the exact moment when most people quit. And that is why most people will never achieve real, lasting success. If you want to be strong, if you want to be successful, if you want to take your life to the next level, you must learn to act despite your feelings. You must train yourself to take action even when your emotions try to hold you back. You must decide that no matter what is going on inside you, you will do what needs to be done. You see, most people believe that mentally strong people don't feel fear. They think they don't feel tired or doubtful or unmotivated. But that's a profound misunderstanding. Mentally strong people feel everything that you feel. They experience the same emotions, the same doubts, the same struggles. The difference is they don't let those emotions dictate their actions. They push through. They stay focused. They do what they need to do no matter what. And that is what you must train yourself to do. Because here's what I know. Your feelings will lie to you. Your emotions will try to convince you to take the easy way out. They will tell you that you can skip today, that you can start tomorrow, that it's okay to take it easy. And if you listen to those emotions, you will never get anywhere. The weak person believes their feelings. They believe the excuses their mind creates. They believe that if they don't feel like doing something, they shouldn't do it. But the strong person understands that their feelings don't run the show. They take control. They tell their emotions, I hear you, but you don't decide what I do. I do. Now, I know that is easier said than done, because we live in a world that encourages weakness. Everywhere you look, people are telling you to follow your feelings, to only do what makes you happy, to wait for the right mood. But I'll tell you this, if you wait for the right mood, you'll be waiting forever, because life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Success doesn't wait for you to be in the mood. You either show up and do the work, or you stay stuck where you are. And the people who get ahead in life, the ones who achieve their dreams, they don't wait. They take action even when they don't feel like it. I want you to think about something right now. Think about one thing in your life that you know you should be doing, but you haven't done because you're waiting to feel like it. Maybe it's getting in shape, maybe it's starting a new business, maybe it's having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, I want you to ask yourself, how long have you been waiting? How much time have you wasted because you let your feelings stop you? And more importantly, what would your life look like right now if you had just taken action no matter how you felt? Now, here's the good news. You don't have to let your feelings control you anymore. You can take control starting today. You can decide that from this moment on, you will not let emotions run your life. You will not let moods dictate your future. You will not wait for motivation to take action. Instead, you will do what needs to be done no matter what. Because when you start living this way, everything changes. Suddenly, you're no longer controlled by laziness. You're no longer held back by fear. You're no longer waiting for the perfect moment to take action. You simply do what you need to do, and because of that, you get results. That's the difference between winners and losers. Winners take action no matter how they feel. Losers wait for the right moment, the right mood, the right feeling, and that moment never comes. Because let me tell you, once you learn to act despite your feelings, you become unstoppable. You become the kind of person who follows through no matter what. The kind of person who gets things done even when it's hard. The kind of person who achieves their goals not because they felt like it, but because they made it happen. This profound act of separating yourself from your emotions is the second critical step on our journey to building an unshakable mind. It prepares you for the next phase of our work, where we will address the very thoughts that give rise to those emotions. My friends, we have come to a critical juncture in our journey. We have acknowledged the truth that mental strength is a choice, and we have learned to break free from the tyranny of our fleeting emotions. But these are defensive measures. They are acts of self-preservation. Now, we must move from defense to offense. We must take the principles we have discussed and turn them into a powerful, creative force. This is the moment we move from a life of reacting to a life of creating. This is the moment we learn to rewire our thinking and change our life. You know, it's an interesting thing. Most people don't realize just how powerful their mind really is. They don't understand that every single thing in their life, their habits, their success, their failures, comes down to one thing: the way they think. Your thoughts are not just passive observations. They are the genesis of every action you take and every result you get. They are the blueprint for your reality. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. If you could hear the thoughts running through your mind every day, what would you hear? Are they thoughts of confidence, strength, and determination? Or are they thoughts of doubt, worry, and fear? Because I'll tell you something. Whatever you think about the most, that's exactly what you will create in your life. You see, your mind is like a program, a powerful supercomputer, and the thoughts you repeat over and over again are what shape that program. If you've been telling yourself you're not good enough, guess what? That is the program you are running, and you will start to act like you're not good enough. If you constantly think about failure, you will start making choices that lead to failure. If you let negativity fill your mind, your life will reflect that negativity. The tragedy is that we often blame the external world for the consequences of our own internal programming. We think the world is holding us back, when in fact, Our own minds are the greatest obstacle. But here's the good news, the truly liberating news. Just like any program, your mind can be rewritten. You are not a prisoner of your own thoughts. You don't have to accept the limiting beliefs you've been carrying around. You don't have to stay stuck in old ways of thinking. You can choose to rewire your mind, change your thoughts, and completely transform your life. This is the ultimate act of self-creation, and it is entirely within your power. Now, let me tell you something important. If you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think. And I'm not just talking about thinking positive. That's too simplistic. I'm talking about the deliberate, disciplined, and relentless act of replacing every single weak, negative, and limiting thought with something strong, something that pushes you forward, something that makes you better. Because if you do not take control of your mind, the world will do it for you. Look around you. Everywhere you go, there are messages trying to program you, the news, social media, the opinions of people around you. Most of them are filling your mind with fear, distractions, and negativity. And if you are not careful, you will start to believe it. You will start thinking the way they want you to think instead of thinking for yourself. So the first thing you must do is become aware of what you allow into your mind. What are you listening to? What are you watching? Who are you spending time with? Your mind is a fortress, and you are the gatekeeper. You must stand guard and decide what is allowed in and what must be kept out. If you are constantly feeding your mind with garbage, do not be surprised when your life feels like garbage. You must guard your mind. You must take control of what you allow in, because what goes in will eventually come out in your actions, in your results, in your life. Once you become aware of your thoughts, the next step is to start replacing the ones that do not serve you. Because I promise you, most of the limitations you believe about yourself are not even real. They are old, outdated programs running on a loop. At some point, someone told you that you weren't smart enough, and you believed it. At some point, you failed at a task, and you convinced yourself that you would always fail. You fell into a pattern of procrastination, and you told yourself, that's just the way I am. But I'll tell you something, none of that is true. It only became true because you accepted it. So now it's time to reprogram your mind with new beliefs. And the way you do that is by repetition. Just like a bad thought can take root in your mind through repetition, a strong one can too. But you must be intentional about it. Every day you must speak strength into your mind. Every day you must remind yourself of who you are, what you are capable of, and where you are going. Every day you must train your mind to focus on possibilities, solutions, and opportunities instead of limitations and excuses. And let me be clear, this is not something you do once and forget about. This is a daily practice. This is a lifelong commitment. Every single day you must train your mind the same way you would train your body. Because if you do not take control of your thoughts, your old ways of thinking will creep back in. The world will try to pull you back into fear, into doubt, into hesitation, and if you are not careful, you will fall right back into your old patterns. But if you stay committed, if you discipline your mind, if you refuse to accept anything less than a strong, focused, and powerful mindset, your life will change in ways you cannot even imagine. Suddenly, the things that used to scare you will no longer hold you back. The things that used to feel impossible will now seem like challenges you are ready to conquer. The goals that once felt out of reach will now feel inevitable. This is the power of rewiring your thinking, the ultimate act of creation. And I'll tell you something, this is not just for success, this is for every area of your life. Relationships, health, finances, every single part of your life is a reflection of the way you think. Change your thoughts, and you change your results. Change your results, and you change your life. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I've been thinking this way for so long, can I really change? And my answer is simple. Yes, but only if you decide to. Only if you make the commitment to stop letting your old programming control your future. I don't care how long you've been stuck in the same mindset. I don't care how many years you've wasted doubting yourself. I don't care how many times you've failed. The moment you decide to take control of your thoughts, your future changes. The moment you decide to stop thinking like a victim and start thinking like a winner, your life starts moving in a new direction. But that decision must come from you. No one can do it for you. No one can change your mind except you. You must decide that from this day forward, you will not entertain weak thoughts. You will not let negativity dictate your actions. You will not let fear run your life. You will take control. You will rewire your mind, and you will build the kind of thinking that leads to success, to strength, to greatness. And I'll tell you this, once you do that, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Because when your mind is strong, you are strong. When your mind is focused, your actions follow. And when your thoughts are in the right place, your life becomes everything you've ever wanted it to be. With this newfound power to control your thoughts, you are now ready to face the most common and paralyzing of all human emotions. In our next conversation, we will talk about how to face your fears and take back the control that has been holding you captive for so long. My friends, in our pursuit of an unshakable mind, we have made a series of profound and powerful declarations. We have understood that mental strength is a choice, and that our emotions are not the masters of our destiny. We have even begun the difficult but rewarding work of rewiring our internal programming. But as we stand here, ready to move forward, a final, formidable enemy remains. This enemy is a master of disguise. It whispers sweet excuses in one ear and paralyzes you with doubt in the other. It holds the keys to a life of mediocrity and unfulfilled potential. This enemy, my friends, is fear. Fear is a powerful thing. It stops people from moving forward. It keeps them stuck. It makes them hesitate when they should take action. And worst of all, it controls their decisions, their future, their life. But here's what I want you to understand. A truth that will change your relationship with fear forever. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is not the thing holding you back. What's really holding you back is your decision to let fear stop you. Think about it. What would your life look like if you weren't afraid? What kind of opportunities would you take? What kind of risks would you go for? What kind of goals would you finally start working on? Most people don't realize how much of their life is dictated by fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking stupid, fear of losing, fear of stepping outside their comfort zone. And because of that fear, they stay exactly where they are. They build a life not of what they want, but of what they believe is safe. They build a life around the absence of fear, and in doing so, they build a life without growth. But let me ask you something. How long are you going to let fear run your life? How many more years are you going to waste avoiding the things that could actually make you better? How much longer are you going to play small because you're afraid of what might happen? Because here's the truth. Fear is not something you escape, it's something you face. And until you decide to face it, it will control you. I've met so many people who spend their whole lives running from fear. They avoid situations that make them uncomfortable. They stay in jobs they hate because they're afraid of the unknown. They stay in toxic relationships because they're afraid of being alone. They make every decision based on what's safe instead of what's right. And because of that, they never grow. They never become who they're supposed to be. But let me tell you something. Every single person you admire, every single person who has done something great, every single person who has changed their life, they all had fear. They all had doubts. They all had moments where they weren't sure they could do it. The difference is they didn't let fear make their decisions for them. So I'll tell you right now, if you want to take control of your life, you must learn to do what scares you. You must train yourself to step toward fear instead of away from it. Because on the other side of fear is everything you're looking for. Now I know what you're thinking, Jim, that sounds good, but it's not that easy. And you're right, it's not easy. Facing fear is one of the hardest things you will ever do. But you know what's even harder? Living a life where you never go after what you really want. Living a life where you let fear keep you small, keep you stuck, keep you from ever experiencing your full potential. That's hard. That is the true difficulty. You see, most people think fear is a stop sign. They think, I feel afraid, so that must mean I shouldn't do it. But that's not true. Fear is not a stop sign. Fear is a signal. It's a sign that you're about to step into something bigger than yourself. It's a sign that you're about to grow. It's a sign that you're about to do something that matters. So instead of running from fear, I want you to start seeing it as a challenge. I want you to start seeing it as a test. Because every time you face your fears, you get stronger. Every time you push through fear, you build confidence. Every time you do something that scares you, you take back control of your life. Now, let me give you something practical. The next time fear shows up, I want you to stop and ask yourself one simple question. What's the worst that could happen? Because most of the time when you actually think about it, the worst case scenario isn't even that bad. You're afraid to start a new business because you might fail. So what? You learn, you grow, and you try again. You're afraid to speak up because someone might not agree with you. So what? You're standing up for what you believe in. You're afraid to take a chance on yourself because it might not work out. So what? At least you gave yourself a chance instead of living with regret. You see, most of the things we fear are not life-threatening. They're not dangerous. They're just uncomfortable. But guess what? Growth is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. Becoming stronger is uncomfortable. And if you want to change your life, you must get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because the truth is, fear never really goes away. No matter how successful you become, no matter how strong you get, no matter how much you achieve, fear will always be there. But the difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck is simple. The people who succeed don't wait for the fear to disappear. They take action even when they're afraid. That's the mindset you must develop. You must become the kind of person who feels fear and moves forward anyway. You must become the kind of person who refuses to let fear control their life. You must become the kind of person who steps up, takes risks, and does what needs to be done no matter how scary it feels. Because when you do that, you will realize something incredible. Fear only has power if you feed it. Fear only controls you if you let it. But the moment you decide to take action despite your fear, it starts to lose its grip. Suddenly, the things that used to terrify you don't seem so big anymore. The things that used to stop you don't hold you back anymore. The things that once felt impossible now feel within reach. And that's when you take back control of your life. That's when you become unstoppable. That's when you start living, really living, instead of just existing. So here's my challenge to you. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the fear to go away. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, because it will never come. The perfect moment is the moment you decide to take action. So decide today. Decide right now. Decide that from this day forward, you will not let fear run your life. Decide that from this moment on, you will not let fear control your decisions. Decide that you will face your fears, push through your doubts, and take back your power. Because when you do that, everything changes. Your confidence grows. Your opportunities expand. Your life transforms. And you become the person you were always meant to be. This profound act of facing your fears is the next critical step on our journey to building an unshakable mind. It prepares you for the next phase of our work, where we will address the very thoughts that give rise to those emotions. We've covered 4 powerful principles for building an unshakable mind. But this is just the beginning of your journey. The next steps are about turning this knowledge into consistent action. If you're finding this message valuable and you're ready to master your mindset and your life, I want you to do one thing. Subscribe to this channel now and hit that notification bell. By doing so, you'll join a community of people who are committed to building a life of purpose and mental strength. Don't let this be just another video. Let it be the catalyst for your transformation. My friends, we have come so far in our journey. We have stood up to our fears, challenged the whispers of doubt, and reclaimed the power of choice. We have learned to push forward when it gets hard, to win our mornings with intention, and to rewire the very programming of our minds. These are profound, transformative acts. But now we must face an even greater, more universal truth. The work of building mental strength is not done in the absence of hardship, but in its very presence. The truth is, life is not always going to be easy. That's not a prediction of doom. It's a simple, undeniable fact. You will have struggles. You will have moments where you feel lost, moments where things don't go your way, and moments where you want to quit. And I want you to understand something critical about these moments. They are not a sign that something is wrong with you. They are not a punishment. They are a sign that you are alive, that you are in the middle of your journey, and that you are being given a chance to become stronger. See, most people don't realize that tough times are the greatest teachers. They are the forge in which your resilience, your character, and your true self are hammered into shape. They teach you patience. They teach you resilience. They teach you who you really are. They are a master class in self-discovery, a lesson in perseverance that no book, no seminar, and no mentor can ever truly replicate. But the problem is, most people don't want to go through those tough times. They want life to be smooth. They want success without struggle. They want growth without challenge. They want to get to the next level without going through the hard parts. They chase comfort like it's the ultimate goal, and in doing so, they miss the entire point of the journey. Growth doesn't happen when things are easy. Strength doesn't come from comfort. The strongest people you know, the ones who inspire you, the ones who seem unshakable, they didn't become that way because life was kind to them. They became that way because they learned how to face difficulty head on. The real question is, how do you do that? How do you strengthen your mind when life gets hard? How do you stay focused when everything feels like it's falling apart? How do you keep going when you feel like you have nothing left? It starts with understanding one simple truth. Your mind is either working for you or against you. Every time you go through a tough time, your mind is either making you stronger or making you weaker, and that choice is entirely up to you. The weak mind, when faced with a challenge, immediately retreats into a victim mindset. It focuses on what's wrong. It dwells on how unfair it is, how painful it is, how much it wishes the problem would just go away. This is a passive, disempowering stance. This is the mind at its weakest, allowing circumstances to dictate its internal state. But I need you to do something different. I need you to shift your focus. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You must ask, what is this teaching me? This is a revolutionary shift in perspective. It moves you from a place of victimhood to a place of authorship. It gives you back your power. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you start looking for the lesson, because there is always a lesson. You might not see it right away, and you might not like it, but it's there. Maybe life is teaching you patience. Maybe life is teaching you to be tougher. Maybe life is teaching you to stop relying on other people to make you happy. Whatever it is, find the lesson and use it to grow. The second thing you have to do is refuse to let difficulty break you. When life gets tough, people tend to shrink. They lower their standards. They give up on their goals. They settle. They say, well, maybe this is just how things are supposed to be. But that's not true. Life doesn't get to decide that for you. You do. Hard times are going to come. That's a fact. But whether those hard times make you stronger or weaker, that's a choice. You can use struggle as an excuse to give up, or you can use it as fuel to push forward. And I hope you choose to push forward. I've seen people go through the hardest situations you can imagine and come out stronger. I've seen people lose everything and rebuild their lives from scratch. I've seen people hit rock bottom and turn it into the foundation for something great. And if they can do it, so can you. But only if you decide to. Another thing I want you to remember is this: emotions are temporary. When you're in the middle of a tough time, it feels like it's going to last forever. It feels like you'll never get through it. But I promise you, you will. Nothing lasts forever. Not pain, not struggle, not failure, not disappointment. It all passes. And if you can hold on, if you can keep going, you will come out on the other side stronger than ever. But you must keep going. That's the key. You must push through the days where you don't feel like it. You must get up and keep working, keep growing, keep believing, even when everything in you is telling you to quit. That's what mental strength is. It's not about being fearless. It's not about being unaffected by life. It's about standing tall even when you're scared. It's about showing up even when it's hard. You don't build mental strength by avoiding tough times. You build it by walking through them. You build it by proving to yourself over and over again that you can handle whatever comes your way, and the more you do that, the stronger you get. So let me ask you, what if, instead of seeing tough times as something to fear, you started seeing them as an opportunity? What if, instead of breaking you down, you let them build you up? What if, instead of running from difficulty, you faced it head on and used it to become the best version of yourself? Because that's what strong people do. They don't run from problems. They don't let obstacles define them. They don't let hardships stop them. They take control. They decide who they're going to be no matter what life throws at them. I want you to make a decision right now that no matter how hard life gets, you will not give up on yourself. I want you to commit to pushing through to learning from every struggle, to using every setback as a setup for something greater. Because one day, you will look back on these tough times and you will realize they made you who you are. You will see that the strength, the wisdom, the confidence, you have it all came from the moments when things were hard, and you will be grateful that you didn't quit. This is the profound truth of personal growth. Adversity is not an enemy to be avoided. It is a teacher to be respected. Now that you understand this principle, you are ready for the next phase of your mental training, learning to remain calm and focused when the pressure is on. My friends, in our pursuit of an unshakable mind, we have stood tall in the face of adversity. We have unmasked the great deception of external validation and reclaimed our internal control. We have even learned to look fear in the eye and take back the power it has held over us. We are building a fortress of the mind, brick by brick, with each conscious choice we make. But a fortress, no matter how strong its walls, is useless if the one who commands it succumbs to panic in the heat of battle. A powerful mind without the ability to remain calm under pressure is like a powerful engine with no brakes. It can move with great force, but it will eventually crash. This is the next crucial test of your mental strength. This is the moment you must learn to command not just your actions, but your internal state. I am talking about the ability to train yourself to stay calm under pressure. Pressure is a part of life. You're going to feel it at work, in your relationships, in your personal growth. In every challenge you face, it's going to test you. It's going to push you, and sometimes it's going to make you feel like you're drowning. But here's what I want you to know. Staying calm under pressure is not about avoiding stress. It's not about hoping that life never puts you in tough situations. It is a skill. It is something you build, you train, and you practice. It is about equipping yourself to handle whatever comes your way without losing control. Let's be honest. Most people crack under pressure. When things go wrong, they panic, they get emotional, they react instead of responding. Their thoughts race, their breathing becomes shallow, and they let the situation control them instead of staying in control of the moment. And in that state of panic, they make mistakes. They say things they shouldn't, they do things they regret. They let the chaos of the moment dictate their actions, and they are left with a feeling of helplessness. But I want you to be different. I want you to be the kind of person who, no matter what happens, can stay clear-headed. Because when you stay calm, you make better decisions. When you stay calm, you think before you act. When you stay calm, you command the situation instead of letting the situation command you. The first and most critical thing you have to do to train yourself to stay calm under pressure is to slow down. When something happens, when you get bad news, when someone says something that upsets you, your first instinct will be to react. Your heart rate goes up. Your thoughts start racing, and before you know it, you're acting out of impulse instead of intelligence. But the key is to catch yourself in that moment. Before you say anything, before you do anything, pause. Take a deep breath. Give yourself a few seconds to process what's happening. Those few seconds can make all the difference. They are the moments that separate people who lose control from people who stay in control. And let me tell you something. Calm is a skill. It's not something you're born with. It's a muscle that you can strengthen with deliberate, consistent practice. The more you train yourself to pause, to slow down, to take a deep breath before reacting, the better you'll get at handling pressure. The next thing you need to understand is that pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is just a test. That's all it is. It's life checking to see if you're ready for the next level. It's life asking, can you handle more responsibility? Can you stay in control when things don't go your way? Can you think clearly when the heat is on? And let me tell you, the people who succeed, the people who make it, the people who rise to the top, they don't run from pressure. They embrace it. They see it as an opportunity. They know that if they can stay calm when things get hard, they will have an advantage over everybody else. Because think about it. How many people do you know who fall apart under stress? How many people do you know who make bad decisions because they can't handle the moment? Now imagine if that wasn't you. Imagine if no matter what happened, you could keep a level head. Imagine if in every stressful situation, you could be the one people look to for guidance. That's what mental strength is. It's not about pretending life is easy. It's about being the kind of person who can handle it when it's not. So let's talk about how to actually build that kind of strength. First, you have to control what you focus on. When pressure hits, most people focus on everything that could go wrong. They focus on the worst case scenario. They focus on fear, on doubt, on all the things they can't control. They spiral into a whirlpool of negativity. But what if you trained yourself to focus on solutions instead of problems? What if every time pressure hit, you asked yourself, what can I do right now? What's the next step? What's the smartest move? Because when you train your mind to focus on solutions, you stay calm, you stay in control. You don't waste time worrying. You start acting. The second thing you have to do is control your emotions. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't feel anything. You're human. You're going to feel frustration. You're going to feel disappointment. You're going to feel stress. But you don't have to let those feelings control you. Strong people feel emotions just like everybody else, but they don't let emotions make their decisions. They let logic lead, not fear. They let wisdom guide them, not panic. They take a step back, they analyze the situation, and they respond in a way that moves them forward. And the last thing I want you to remember is this: pressure is temporary. The stress you feel right now, the problem that seems so big, the moment that feels overwhelming, it will pass. It always does. But how you handle it will stay with you. How you react, the choices you make, the way you carry yourself under pressure, that will define you. So the next time you feel pressure, remind yourself, you are in control. You are bigger than the moment. You don't have to panic. You don't have to react. You have the power to stay calm, to think clearly, and to make the right move. And if you can do that, if you train yourself to stay calm no matter what, you will be unstoppable. You will be the kind of person people respect. You will be the kind of person people trust. You will be the kind of person who doesn't just survive pressure, you thrive in it. This ability to find stillness in the midst of chaos is the next critical building block of your mental fortress. It is an act of will that gives you a profound advantage in a world that is easily swayed by fleeting emotions. Now that you understand the power of staying calm under pressure, we will move forward to discuss how to defeat the most common external saboteurs of your progress, negative influences. You've got to take a serious look at the people and the influences in your life, because whether you realize it or not, they're shaping the way you think, the way you feel, and ultimately the way you live. Think about it. Every conversation you have, every piece of information you consume, every environment you put yourself in, it's all leaving a mark on you. And if you're not careful, those influences can be pulling you in the wrong direction. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't about blaming other people for your problems. It's not about pointing fingers and saying, well, it's because of them that I haven't grown. No. Your life is your responsibility. But what I am saying is this: if you want to become mentally strong, if you want to grow, if you want to live at a higher level, you need to be aware of what's shaping your mind every single day. One of the hardest but most important things you'll ever do is learn to separate yourself from the wrong influences. And I know that's not always easy. Some of those influences might be people you've known for years. They might be friends, family, co-workers, people who on the surface don't seem like they're doing you any harm. But when you really take a step back, when you really start paying attention, you might notice that they're keeping you stuck. Maybe it's the friend who always complains, the one who never has anything positive to say, the one who brings every conversation down. And at first, you might not think much of it, but over time, that negativity starts to affect you. It drains you. It makes you see life through a darker lens. Or maybe it's the people who never challenge themselves. They don't have goals. They don't have ambition. They don't want to grow. And when you start trying to improve, when you start making changes, they make fun of you. They call you crazy. They try to pull you back down to their level, because if you grow, it reminds them that they're not. Or maybe it's not even people. Maybe it's the things you consume, the news that keeps you in a constant state of fear, the social media that fills your mind with comparison, the entertainment that normalizes bad habits and destructive behavior. Whatever it is, you've got to take a step back and ask yourself, is this helping me or is this hurting me? Is this making me stronger or is it making me weaker? Is this moving me forward or is it keeping me stuck? Because here's the truth. You cannot surround yourself with negativity and expect to live a positive life. You cannot fill your mind with garbage and expect to have a strong, disciplined, focused mindset. It doesn't work that way. So what do? First, you have to make the decision. You have to decide that your growth is more important than staying comfortable. You have to decide that your future is worth more than your fear of letting go. Because that's what holds most people back. They're afraid to cut ties, afraid to step away, afraid to be alone for a while. But let me tell you something, there's nothing more powerful than a person who is willing to walk away from what's holding them back. That kind of person will win, that kind of person will grow, that kind of person will build a life they're proud of. Once you make the decision, the next step is to start being intentional about what you allow into your life. Choose your circle wisely. Spend time with people who inspire you, who push you, who make you better. Listen to things that fill your mind with wisdom, with knowledge, with ideas that move you forward. Put yourself in environments that challenge you to grow. And listen, I get it. Sometimes you can't completely cut people out. Sometimes they're family, sometimes they're co-workers. But you can control how much access they have to you. You can limit your time. You can choose what conversations you engage in. You can set boundaries. And for everything you remove, replace it with something better. Replace negativity with learning. Replace complaining with gratitude. Replace mindless entertainment with something that builds you up. Because the stronger the input, the stronger the output. And here's the best part. When you start making these changes, when you start shifting the influences in your life, you're going to feel different. You're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel more focused. You're going to feel a level of clarity that maybe you haven't felt in a long time. And that's when you'll know you're on the right track. So make the decision today. Take a hard look at the influences in your life. Be honest with yourself. And if something is not serving you, if something is not making you better, have the courage to let it go. Because your life, your success, your future, it's all too important to let the wrong influences hold you back. Self-discipline is the cornerstone of success. It's the foundation of everything you want to accomplish in life, whether it's in your career, your relationships, your health, or your personal development. Without discipline, all the talent, all the ambition, all the dreams you have will never become a reality. Now, I know when we talk about discipline, people often think it's all about being hard on yourself, saying no to the things you enjoy, and living a life of deprivation. But that's not what discipline is. Discipline isn't about restricting yourself. It's about giving yourself the freedom to live your best life. It's about making choices now that will pay off in the long run. It's about doing the things you know you should be doing, even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, most people have the wrong idea about discipline. They think it's about willpower. They think it's something you either have or you don't. But here's the thing, discipline is a skill. It's a muscle. And just like any muscle, you can strengthen it with practice. And the good news is, you can start right now. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, the secret to success is doing what you don't want to do, but doing it like you love it. It sounds simple enough, right? But when you really break it down, you realize how profound it is. The ability to do what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's not fun, is what sets successful people apart from everyone else. It's easy to do something when you're feeling motivated. The real test is doing it when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you'd rather be doing something else. This is where most people fail. They start something with excitement, with energy, but when the hard work sets in, they give up. They stop showing up. They let their emotions control them, and they stop being disciplined. That's why so many people start diets, start workout routines, start businesses and never finish them. They haven't learned how to stay disciplined when things get tough. So, how do you master the art of self-discipline? Well, the first step is recognizing that it's about consistency, not perfection. You're not going to get it right every single time, and that's okay. What matters is that you show up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is about building habits. It's about creating a routine that moves you toward your goals and sticking to it even when it's inconvenient. And let me tell you something, if you're struggling with self-discipline, it's not because you're not capable, it's because you haven't made discipline a priority. You haven't made it non-negotiable. People who succeed in life, people who are mentally strong, are the ones who have made their commitments to themselves a non-negotiable. They don't say, I'll do it if I feel like it. They say, I'm doing this no matter what. And that's the difference between those who succeed and those who fall short. But here's the thing about self-discipline. It's not just about doing what's hard. It's about doing the things that are easy to ignore but crucial to your success. It's about planning your day in advance, setting clear goals, and following through. It's about prioritizing the things that are important even when the urgent things try to steal your attention. One of the best ways to strengthen your discipline is to set clear, specific goals. If you don't know where you're going, how can you expect to stay disciplined? Discipline thrives on clarity. The clearer you are about what you want, the easier it is to stay disciplined. When you have a clear picture of your future, it's easier to say no to distractions and focus on what truly matters. Another crucial part of discipline is understanding your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to succeed? What's driving you? If your why isn't strong enough, if it's not powerful enough to keep you going when things get tough, you'll lose your discipline. You'll fall off track. Your why has to be compelling. It has to be something that fuels you on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. It has to be something bigger than just a fleeting desire for comfort or instant gratification. Your why should be tied to your values, your dreams, and your vision for your life. And when you have a strong why, discipline becomes much easier to maintain, because it's no longer just about willpower. It's about purpose. One of the most powerful tools for mastering self-discipline is creating systems. Systems remove the need for constant decision-making. When you have a system in place, you don't have to think twice about whether or not you're going to do something. You just do it. Think about it. If you have a set routine every morning where you wake up, exercise, eat a healthy breakfast, and then dive into your work, you don't have to waste energy deciding whether or not you're going to do those things. You've already decided. It's part of your system. And when you make self-discipline a part of your system, it becomes automatic. Another thing to keep in mind is that self-discipline is about progress, not perfection. It's about getting better each day, not beating yourself up when you slip up. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. Expect yourself to be consistent. And when you mess up, because we all do, don't get discouraged. Just get back on track. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who keep getting up every time they fall down. Finally, let me leave you with this. Self-discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's the bridge that connects your dreams to your reality. Without it, you'll always be stuck in the same place. But with it, you'll find that nothing is out of reach. Becoming mentally strong doesn't just happen by chance. It's something you build over time, brick by brick, through the challenges you face. And one of the most powerful ways to build a truly strong mind is to push through the difficulties that life throws your way. You don't get stronger by avoiding hard things. You get stronger by facing them head on, by finding a way through them, by learning from them. Let me tell you something. Challenges are not your enemy. They are your training ground. It's easy to look at difficulties and think, why me? Or I didn't sign up for this. But the reality is, challenges are not here to break you. They are here to shape you. They are shaping your character, your resolve, your perspective. Every difficult situation you face gives you the opportunity to strengthen your mind. But here's the catch. If you shy away from those challenges, if you run from the discomfort, you're also running from the chance to grow. Think about the times when you faced tough situations. Maybe it was a personal loss, a job setback, a health scare, or a financial struggle. In those moments, did you give up, or did you find a way to push through, to keep moving forward, even when the road felt like it was getting harder by the day? You see, mentally strong people are not people who never face adversity. They're the ones who face adversity with a mindset that says, this isn't going to defeat me. This is going to make me better. They understand that every obstacle has within it the seeds of growth, and the more you embrace this mindset, the more you'll find yourself rising above the challenges instead of being crushed by them. The most important thing you can do when faced with a challenge is to change your perspective. Don't view it as something happening to you. See it as something happening for you. This subtle shift in how you look at life's difficulties will completely change the way you approach them. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of saying, this is too much to handle, tell yourself, I can get through this. I will get through this. When you face challenges with that mindset, you're no longer a victim to your circumstances. You're a student learning the lessons that life is teaching you. And that, my friend, is what mentally strong people do. They don't waste energy feeling sorry for themselves. They don't waste time blaming others. They focus on what's in their control, their response, their attitude, their next step forward. It's easy to sit back and wish that life were easier. It's easy to complain when things aren't going well. But the truth is, the easier path never teaches you the lessons you need to learn. It never strengthens you. If everything were always smooth, you would never develop the resilience that's needed to truly thrive in life. The greatest successes are built on the foundation of overcoming difficulty. Think about the most successful people you know. Think about the people who inspire you the most. I guarantee you that they've all gone through their own fair share of challenges, but instead of being broken by them, they've been molded by them. When life gets tough, that's your cue to step up. When everything inside you says, I can't, that's the moment where you need to tell yourself, I will. It's in those moments of resistance that you will find your true strength. But it doesn't just happen, you have to practice it. You have to build the muscle of resilience. And just like lifting weights, the more you practice, the stronger you get. What does this look like in real life? It means choosing to keep going when you don't feel like it. It means doing the work even when it's uncomfortable. It means holding on to your vision of what you want for your life even when the path ahead feels uncertain. It means choosing to be patient when things aren't happening as quickly as you'd like. It means accepting the fact that setbacks are part of the process and that they don't mean failure, they mean you're learning, you're growing, you're becoming who you were meant to be. But here's the kicker. Strength doesn't just come from the big dramatic moments. It comes from the everyday choices you make. It comes from doing the right thing when nobody is watching. It comes from sticking to your commitments even when it would be so much easier to quit. It's the small, consistent acts of mental toughness that compound over time to create a mind that is bulletproof. One of the key ways to build mental strength is to put yourself in situations where you have to stretch. You can't get stronger without resistance, so start doing things that challenge you. Whether it's taking on a difficult project at work, confronting a fear you've been avoiding, or simply pushing yourself to do something new every day, those small steps add up. Over time, you'll look back and realize how much stronger you've become. You'll see that you've developed the kind of mental toughness that doesn't back down in the face of adversity. You'll realize that those things that once seemed impossible are now just another step in your journey. Another important piece of mental strength is learning how to handle criticism and rejection. It's easy to get discouraged when people doubt you or when things don't go the way you plan. But the truth is, criticism and rejection are just part of the game. They don't define you. They are just feedback. And what mentally strong people do is take that feedback, learn from it, and keep going. They don't let a no stop them. They don't let a failure define them. They use every rejection as fuel to prove to themselves that they can keep moving forward. Remember, life's challenges are not meant to break you, they are meant to build you. Every obstacle is an opportunity. Every failure is a lesson. And every setback is just a setup for a comeback. The stronger your mindset, the stronger you'll be when those tough times come and when you start to see the challenges for what they truly are, an opportunity for growth. Your perspective will shift and you'll find yourself moving through life's difficulties with strength, grace, and resilience. Your mind is an incredible tool. It's one of the most powerful things you have in your life, and yet so many people never realize its true potential. You hear the saying all the time, your mind is your greatest asset. But do you really understand what that means? Your mind is the difference between success and failure, between living the life you want and settling for something less. The reality is that everything you experience in life begins with your thoughts. Your mind shapes your reality. The way you think, the way you approach challenges, and the way you see the world, all of this has a profound impact on your outcomes. But here's the thing, too many people don't fully appreciate the power of their own minds. They allow negative thoughts, doubts, and fears to take root. They let limiting beliefs hold them back from reaching their true potential. They forget that their mind is not just a tool for thinking. It's a weapon, and like any weapon, it needs to be trained and sharpened. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a muscle. When you first start working out, it's not easy. It's uncomfortable. It's hard. But the more you train it, the stronger it gets. And over time, your mind becomes more powerful, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. The best part? just like with physical fitness, the more you work on strengthening your mind, the more you'll start to see the results in your life. You'll start achieving things you once thought were out of your reach. You'll start breaking through barriers that have held you back for years. The first step in using your mind as a weapon is to understand how it works. The way you think shapes everything around you. If you believe you can't do something, you won't. If you tell yourself that it's too hard or that you're not good enough, then that's what you'll get. But if you change the story you tell yourself, if you start telling yourself that you are capable, that you can learn, that you are deserving of success, then your mind will start to work in your favor. You see, your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It will believe whatever you tell it. So why not tell it something empowering? Why not tell it that you can do anything you set your mind to? Now, don't get me wrong. Training your mind isn't easy. It's not about just thinking positive thoughts and expecting everything to magically fall into place. It's about being intentional with your thoughts. It's about training yourself to recognize when negative or limiting thoughts start to creep in and then consciously replacing them with empowering ones. It's about challenging yourself to think differently, to see opportunities instead of obstacles, and to focus on solutions instead of problems. You have to remember that your mind will try to take the easy route. It will tell you that it's too hard, that you're too tired, that it's not worth it. But that's the time when you need to push the hardest. That's when you need to use the power of your mind to override those negative thoughts and take action anyway. Your mind is the driving force behind every decision you make. It's the reason you get up in the morning. It's the reason you keep going when things get tough. But if you let your mind run wild without discipline, it will take you places you don't want to go. That's why you need to take control of your thoughts, to choose your mindset every single day. One of the most powerful ways to do this is through daily affirmation. If you want to train your mind to think differently, start by speaking positively to yourself. Speak words of power and confidence. Tell yourself that you are capable, that you are strong, and that you can achieve anything. The more you say it, the more your mind will start to believe it. Your brain is like a sponge. It absorbs everything you feed it. So feed it the right thoughts. Feed it the thoughts that will elevate you, that will push you to take action, that will help you stay focused on your goals. But affirmations alone aren't enough. You need to back them up with consistent action. Your mind can only do so much. The rest is up to you. You have to be willing to do the work, to take the steps that lead you toward your goals. Your mind will tell you when to rest, when to stop, when to quit, but if you train it to stay strong, it will keep you moving forward even when the going gets tough. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. Another important element of using your mind as your greatest weapon is learning to control your emotions. Your emotions are powerful, but they can also be a huge distraction if you let them control you. When you're feeling angry, frustrated, or discouraged, it's easy to lose focus. It's easy to let your emotions dictate your actions. But mentally strong people know that emotions are just temporary. They don't let their feelings decide what they do. They use their emotions to fuel their actions, not to derail them. If you want to make your mind your greatest weapon, you have to learn how to rise above your emotions. You have to train yourself to be calm in the face of adversity, to think clearly when the pressure is on, and to stay focused on what really matters. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or ignoring them. It means acknowledging them but not letting them control your behavior. This is where mindfulness and meditation come into play. Learning to quiet your mind and stay present in the moment can help you manage your emotions and make better decisions. When you can control your mind, when you can focus your thoughts and emotions on what matters, you become an unstoppable force. The truth is, your mind is already a powerful tool, but it's up to you to unlock its full potential. It's up to you to train it, to shape it, and to use it to create the life you want. Whether it's achieving your career goals, building stronger relationships, or living a healthier life, your mind is the key to it all. And the best part is, you have complete control. No one else can control your thoughts, your beliefs, or your mindset. You are the one who gets to decide what you focus on, what you believe, and what you create in your life. So use it wisely. Train your mind to be strong, to be focused, to be disciplined. And watch as it transforms your world. Because when you master your mind, you can achieve anything. Your mind is your greatest weapon. and it's time to start using it to its fullest potential. With a fortified mindset, a disciplined approach, and a clear understanding of your own power, you are now ready for the final and most profound principle of all. It is the principle that solidifies everything we have discussed, the ability to trust yourself and to stay in the fight longer. This is where all the training, all the intentional effort, and all the deliberate choices come together. In our final session, we will explore why this unwavering faith in yourself and your ability to endure is the ultimate key to success, and why those who win are simply the ones who refuse to quit. Your mind is your greatest weapon. You have complete control over it. Now that you have the blueprint, the only thing left is to take action. Don't let this knowledge remain just a thought. Make it a part of your daily life. If you're ready to commit to this journey of self-mastery, there are two things I want you to do. First, subscribe to this channel and share this video with one person you know who needs to hear this message. By sharing, you help them on their journey and reinforce these principles in your own mind. Second, leave a comment below with one principle from this video you will start applying today. Let's build a community of action takers. The battle is in your hands, and your victory begins now.